You have questions? America's #1 business coach has answers. It's your Broda from Minnesota. Here's another edition of Ask Clay Anything on the Thrive Time Business Coach Radio Show.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're having a conversation with an anonymous member of the Thrive Nation. Mr. Anonymous, how are you, sir?
Doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. Now, we had a meeting this week, and in the meeting, you were asking me about taxes. We ran out of a little bit of time there, so I wanted to call you and answer your question. So can you kind of tee up your question again, and I won't mention any part of your identity.
Okay, so we are a partnership, and my partner and I have yet to be paid for 5 months now.
Oh, yeah.
We're just doing our own thing on the side to make money. But
started from the bottom, now you're here. There you are.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yep.
We're getting there. And so we're wanting to see how we exactly go about paying ourselves tax-wise in a partnership LLC.
Okay, so I'm going to walk you through this, and there will be, every time I give you advice, there will be somebody who is going to push back and say that what I'm telling you is wrong. So first off, what I want to do is I want to commit to being on one side of the, you know how like there's discussions where there's like liberals and conservatives?
Yes.
I am the most conservative tax guy you're probably going to talk to, okay? So
I can respect that.
So that's where I'm going to go there every time. So but there is one book I'd recommend for you to know about. It's called Small Business Taxes for Dummies, and I'm putting a link to it on the show notes so it can walk you through this. But here are the steps, all right? So step number 1, you want to make sure that every time you pay yourself as an employee, okay, up to an amount of what is called fair and reasonable, okay? So pay yourself as an employee up to fair and reasonable. So let's do an example. Let's say hypothetically that you owned a taco truck, all right? And then let's say another listener out there owns a basketball coaching facility, and somebody else out there owns a piano teaching class. And then Andrew, let's say you own a full package media. Got it. All right. If you looked at the average income of somebody who owns a basketball lesson facility, right, in America, and the average, what the person would get paid if they ran a real estate photography company,
right,
and the average of whatever your industry is, that is what you should pay yourself in income, employee income. Like that's the most you should pay yourself as an employee. Does that first part make sense?
It does.
So if it would be unreasonable if, let's say, the IRS were to audit your business, because the IRS, their job is to make sure, whether we like it or not, that they collect taxes so we can pay for roads, defense. You were in the military, so you get it. There's money that has to come in, and so they reach out to. Does the IRS typically, in your mind, audit individuals or businesses?
Businesses, for sure.
Yeah, because you're more likely to have more money. I mean, Andrew, do you know how many guys who are employees who have employees who work for them while they work at their job?
No.
Right. So they're not going to audit a lot of employees. So they're going to audit because the employees have their income already taken
out.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you have a business, Mr. Whoever you are, and if you have no income, no employee income tax going out for the owner of the company, it looks weird.
Fishy, right.
Yeah. So step 2 is you want to avoid red flags. All right? So you want to avoid things that are just like if I walked into the building covered in dog poop and you said, "Man, who smells like dog poop?" Would it sort of be a giveaway that it might be me if I'm covered in head to toe in what appears to be dog poop? So if the IRS looks across America and they know darn well that about 15 to 20% of Americans are trying to screw them over on taxes. That's a real thing. And they look at the guy who's hasn't paid any taxes. Who are they going to say, probably you?
Oh, yeah.
So you don't want to be
like dog poop smells like dog poop. It's probably dog poop.
Right. So then what you want to do at that point is you want to make sure that you then pay yourself distributions. And this is something your accountant can set up. So I'm just making up an example. But if you and whoever you are, you guys pay yourself, let's say that in your industry, the average person makes a salary of $40,000 per year, average salary, if that's the average.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're pulling $80,000 between the two of you. So you're each making $4,000 a month, right? Up until that point, it should all be employee income tax. In my humble opinion, based on my 22 years being self-employed, based on having been audited, based on having worked with thousands of one-on-one clients, you get the idea. That would be my experience. Now, after that, you can set up what's called distributions. And distributions are where a set percentage of the profits flow to you, almost like dividends on a stock. And you have to be set up the right way to do that, and that's where an accountant would help you. And then you take distributions, and those distributions are taxed at a lower rate.
Distributions?
They should be if you're doing equal work and are equal partners.
Okay.
Even if you're not equal work, but you're equal partners, typically they're taken the same, yes.
I see.
Now, let's say you open up another location of whatever it is that you do, whoever you are. So now you've opened up your second location of wherever it is, whoever you are, in whatever city. When you open up that next one, let's just say, hypothetically, you never worked there at all because you had someone who ran it for you, right?
Right.
Then all of your income could be taken as distributions.
And is that tax exempt or is that?
Not exempt, but it's at a lower rate.
I see.
Are you familiar with how much capital gains are taxed at right now? Are you familiar with this?
Not really.
Okay, well, this is good.
I'd like to be.
Okay, so capital gains tax 2019 right now. I'm just looking at it right now. If you are making income off like stocks and bonds, what do you think the maximum amount is that you would pay on your capital gains tax?
I couldn't even tell you.
The maximum is, again, this is just stuff to think about there, okay? There are different brackets, but yeah, most of it's going to be between 0 and 20%.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but your income tax, if you add in your federal and your state, is higher than that. Why? Because the government wants people to buy stocks. You know what I mean?
Right.
So why would they allow you to take distributions at less of a rate? Because they want you to own companies because you create jobs.
Right.
So, but you don't actually work in the day-to-day on the second location. Make sense? And then the third,
It does.
the third, you could do the same thing, and the fourth and the fifth and whatever, That's how that works. Now, for Clark Holdings, that's me, like for my distributions from Tip Top Canine, the company I work with to help franchise now, the dog training business, every time that they, every month when revenues come in, I get a certain percentage of that revenue that goes back to me, right? And it goes not to me as an employee, it goes as a distribution. And then I have to declare myself a salary that I pay myself, and I do pay a lot in taxes. Is that helpful?
Makes sense. It does, yeah, you answered it. Thank you.
Step 1, 2, 3 I got here for you is you want to pay yourself as an employee, step 1, up to what is considered fair and reasonable, right? Step 2, avoid red flags. Just whenever you're dealing with the IRS, there's so many people that are scamming the IRS right now unnecessarily. We all need to pay our fair share. I do believe that. And whether you are Republican or Democrat, whether you want to build a wall or not, whether you're for big military, small military, the point is we're spending a lot of money as a country, and we all need to pay our taxes. And if we don't do it, the whole system falls apart. So that's how that works. And then step 3, we got to pay. You want to get paid as a distribution. So you want to get paid you want to get paid the remainder, your bonuses, as distributions.
Now, when it comes to distributions, are there a limited amount that you can take out monthly or annually?
That's going to be the work of an accountant that would sit down with you and would guide you based upon what's fair and reasonable. And because I know your industry very well, I know that very few people in your industry make more than $4,000 a month, like ever.
Right.
And then they all take a ton of cash. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Oh, it's a cash business. So you got a bunch of these people driving like Suburbans that cost $700 a month, and they're reporting income of $2,000 a month.
Yep.
Yeah, these fancy people with their high interest rate cars, because they're putting down $5,000 of cash, and they're running around with their cash everywhere. I mean, your business, is it not notorious for cash?
It is. All under the table.
And because the business is in your industry, I mean, how often do you see people change T-shirts, change locations, change company names, hop from city to city? I mean, how much?
All the time.
Yeah. So you're the big guys in the industry. It's like elephant in the room. We're the guys in the hair business that have it figured out, And your business, you're the guys in the whatever industry that have it figured out. And let me tell you what, if you're the guys with the legit website and the most reviews and the best videos and the best print pieces and the best everything and the biggest
best no-brainer.
if you're the best, right?
Right.
If you're the IRS, what's the one company whose door you would knock on if you're the best? I mean, I'm not going to go try to collect taxes from the guy who can barely open the doors.
Right.
You guys have a legit lobby, a legit system, a legit process. Right. Some of the people in your industry, it looks like they're operating like a bomb shelter from Beirut, like they reenacted a scene from Beirut or something. Yeah. They got windows knocked out and really crazy lobbies, and it's bad. It feels like they're like, this is where we shot the Taliban ISIS video. It's just like a weird. So you don't want to get audited there. Do you have any other questions about paying yourself and or taxes while we're on the phone here?
I don't think so, Clay. You covered it all. I appreciate it.
Now, we have Wes Carter on today's show as well a little bit later here. And Wes, he's the attorney of choice for Joel Osteen's his law firm has represented Joel Osteen, Winters and King, Pastor T.D. Jakes, Pastor Joyce Myers, Craig Rochelle. Do you have any legal questions for him? Because this might save you $375 per question. Do you have any legal questions, just hot and fresh, that I can ask Wes during our next segment?
I just might, actually, yeah.
What do you got there?
Now, when it comes to a business and like an S corp owning the business,
yep.
Legally wise, are we held accountable for anything that happens to that business on the top within the S corp? Does that make sense?
So you're wanting to know, if you have an S corp, what type of, and Andrew, put this on the very top of the show notes, what type of liability exposure comes with an S corp? Is that what we're saying?
Yes. So like if we own our business through an S corp, what liability are we held under? Yeah.
Okay. So that is okay. So again, I'll make sure we put that on the show notes, and we'll ask Wes Carter in less than probably 30 minutes from now, and then I'll send you that recording as well.
Okay.
Sound great?
Great.
All right.
Man, fantastic.
You're a great American, and I talked to your dad today. He says hello.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Goodbye, whoever you are. All right.
Have a good one.
Bye. 3, 2, 1, boom.